Imagine this. You join the military, ready to serve your country. You're filled with a sense of duty and pride, eager to protect the freedoms and values you hold dear. You risk your life in combat, facing dangers that most people can only imagine. The fear, the adrenaline, the camaraderie, it's all part of the experience. You suffer a traumatic brain injury. The physical and emotional scars are deep, altering your life in ways you never anticipated. You come home, forever changed. The person who left is not the same person who returns. Your family and friends notice the difference, and so do you. But instead of getting the support you need, you're slapped with a less than honorable discharge. You lose your benefits, the very safety net you were promised. You struggle to find work. The skills you honed in the military don't always translate to civilian jobs, and the stigma of your discharge follows you. You feel betrayed by the very system you swore to protect. The sense of abandonment is overwhelming and the isolation is suffocating. This isn't a hypothetical scenario. This is the harsh reality for countless veterans across America. They return home bearing the invisible wounds of war, PTSD, traumatic brain injuries, military sexual trauma. These are not just statistics. These are real people with real struggles. Yet, instead of receiving compassion and care, they face a system that often misunderstands and punishes them. The bureaucracy is cold and unfeeling. They are met with red tape and indifference, their pleas for help often falling on deaf ears. This is a broken system, a system that fails to recognize the true cost of service and the sacrifices made. It's a system that fails to recognize the true cost of service. The financial strain adds to the emotional burden, making it even harder to cope. It's a system that needs to change. Advocacy and awareness are crucial, but so is action. The stories of these veterans are heartbreaking. They are tales of courage, sacrifice, and resilience, but also of neglect and injustice. They're stories of courage, sacrifice, and resilience. These veterans have given so much and they deserve our utmost respect and support, but they're also stories of injustice, stories that highlight the urgent need for systemic reform, and they deserve to be heard. Their voices must be amplified, their struggles acknowledged, and their sacrifices honored. So, how does this happen? How do we find ourselves in a situation where those who have given so much for their country are left feeling abandoned and misunderstood? How do veterans who sacrifice so much end up branded with discharges that feel like scarlet letters? These discharges not only tarnish their records but also their sense of self-worth and identity. The answer lies in a system rife with complexities and inconsistencies, a system that, despite its intentions, often fails to see the human behind the uniform. The military justice system often struggles to differentiate between misconduct and symptoms of invisible injuries. These injuries, though unseen, are deeply felt and profoundly impact behavior. A soldier struggling with PTSD might have outbursts or difficulty following orders, behaviors easily misconstrued as insubordination. These actions are not born out of defiance but from a place of deep pain and confusion. A veteran grappling with the aftermath of sexual assault might self-medicate with alcohol, leading to an alcohol-related incident. This is a cry for help, not a sign of moral failing. These are not excuses but explanations. They provide context to behaviors that on the surface seem inexplicable. They highlight the urgent need for a system that considers the mental and emotional toll of service. A system that understands the profound impact of trauma and seeks to address it compassionately. A system that prioritizes rehabilitation over punishment. One that offers a path to healing rather than a road to further suffering. A system that recognizes that invisible wounds are just as real, just as debilitating as physical ones. These wounds require care, understanding, and appropriate treatment. The consequences of these less than honorable discharges are devastating. They strip veterans of their dignity and their right to the benefits they have earned. Veterans lose access to crucial benefits like healthcare, education, and housing assistance. These are not luxuries but necessities for a stable and fulfilling life. They face significant obstacles in securing employment, as potential employers often view these discharges negatively. This stigma follows them, making reintegration into civilian life an uphill battle. The system designed to support them becomes a source of further hardship and stigma. It is a cycle of injustice that must be broken. Imagine carrying the weight of your service, not with honor, but with a label that feels like a stain on your record. This is the reality for many veterans who, through no fault of their own, find themselves branded with discharges that misrepresent their service and sacrifice. The psychological impact of these unfair discharges is profound. Many veterans experience feelings of shame, betrayal, and worthlessness. They question their own service, wondering if their sacrifices were in vain. The very system they dedicated their lives to upholding has turned its back on them, leaving them feeling lost, alone, and deeply disillusioned. This injustice extends beyond the individual veteran. Families are torn apart. Communities are robbed of the contributions these veterans could be making. The ripple effects of these unfair discharges are felt far and wide, leaving a trail of broken promises and shattered dreams in their wake. But amidst this disheartening reality, a beacon of hope emerges. In the face of adversity, there are those who refuse to give up, who continue to fight for what is right. The Covenant of Courage, a veteran advocacy organization, has launched the #Reasonable Ranks campaign. This initiative is not just a fleeting effort, but a sustained movement aimed at bringing about real change. This campaign is fighting tirelessly to reform the military discharge system and ensure that veterans are treated with the dignity and respect they deserve. It seeks to address the systemic issues that have long plagued the military justice system. #Reasonable Ranks focuses on changing the way the military handles bad paper discharges, those that are less than honorable. These discharges can have devastating effects on veterans' lives, impacting their access to benefits and their ability to find employment. They advocate for a system that considers the context of a veteran's service, including the presence of invisible wounds like PTSD and TBI. These conditions are often the result of their service and should be taken into account when determining their discharge status. They believe in rehabilitation over retribution, advocating for programs that provide veterans with the support they need to heal and reintegrate into civilian life. This approach not only benefits the veterans but also strengthens our communities. This campaign is more than just a hashtag. It's a rallying cry for justice, a call to action for everyone who believes in fairness and equality. It's a movement fueled by the stories of countless veterans who have been failed by the very system they swore to protect. Their voices are powerful, their stories compelling, and their resolve unbreakable. It's a call for accountability, for compassion, for a system that truly honors the sacrifices of those who served. The #Reasonable Ranks campaign is a testament to the enduring spirit of our veterans and their unwavering fight for justice. Section 5. Your story is your weapon. In the fight for discharge reform, your story is your most powerful weapon. Every story shared chips away at the wall of silence and indifference surrounding this issue. Every voice raised adds to the chorus demanding change. By sharing your experiences, you provide a face and a voice to the statistics. You humanize the issue, making it impossible for lawmakers and the public to ignore the human cost of inaction. Your stories have the power to move hearts, change minds, and ultimately drive legislative action. Don't underestimate the impact of your story. It's not just your story, it's the story of countless others who share similar experiences. By speaking out, you become a voice for the voiceless, a champion for justice, and a catalyst for change. Section 6. How to raise your voice. Sharing your story doesn't have to be daunting. There are many ways to make your voice heard. Connect with the #Reasonable Ranks campaign. Share your story on their platform, adding your voice to the growing chorus demanding change. Contact your elected officials, write letters, make phone calls, attend town hall meetings. Let them know that discharge reform is a priority for you and your community. Speak to the media. Share your story with local newspapers, radio stations, and television news outlets. Help raise awareness about this critical issue. Connect with other veterans. Join veteran organizations, attend support groups, and engage in online forums. Sharing your story can be therapeutic and empowering. Remember, every voice matters. Every story shared brings us one step closer to achieving meaningful discharge reform. Section 7. Changing the narrative, changing the system. The power of storytelling lies in its ability to change the narrative. For too long, the narrative surrounding less than honorable discharges has been one of silence and shame. Veterans have suffered in silence, afraid to speak out for fear of judgment or reprisal. But the tide is turning. The #Reasonable Ranks campaign, along with the countless veterans sharing their stories, is changing the narrative. They're replacing silence with strength, shame with solidarity, and fear with hope. This shift in narrative is crucial for driving legislative and policy changes. When lawmakers hear the real-life stories behind the statistics, when they understand the devastating impact of these unfair discharges, they're more likely to take action. Section 8. No more silent suffering. The time for silence is over. The time for action is now. No veteran should have to suffer in silence, carrying the weight of an unfair discharge. No family should have to endure the pain of seeing their loved one denied the support they deserve. It's time to break the cycle of silence and shame. It's time to demand better for our veterans. It's time for discharge reform. Your story matters, your voice matters, your action matters. Together, we can create a system that honors the sacrifices of our veterans, both visible and invisible. Section 9. Join the fight for discharge reform. If you're a veteran who has been impacted by an unfair discharge, know that you're not alone. There are resources available to help you, and there are people fighting for you. Join the #ReasonableRanks campaign. Share your story, contact your elected officials, let your voice be heard. Together, we can create a system that truly honors the service and sacrifice of our veterans. The fight for discharge reform is a fight for justice, for fairness, and for the soul of our nation. Let's fight this fight together. Let's ensure that no veteran is left behind.